was a GP for about 10 years and then through my own ill health suffered with low testosterone. And it wasn't until I went on TRT that I was really struggling mentally and physically. So when the testosterone treatment sort of changed my entire life, really, it inspired me to change my career. I ended up leaving general practice and becoming a men's health and testosterone doctor. So it was because of my own ill health and own battle with low testosterone and the amazing results from the TRT treatment that basically it changed my whole career trajectory. I think that the low testosterone is sadly commonly missed. So in the general medical world, it's probably under tested for. And then when you do get tested for it, often the interpretation of the results can be a little bit lacking. And this is from personal experience and experiencing dealing with, many men who have low testosterone. So my passion about spreading the word and the awareness is, I think part of the issue is that even the medical community, as well as the general public, aren't really aware of how low testosterone can affect someone. So it's not just about sex, it's not just about muscles, it's also about our mental and physical health. So I think just spreading that awareness, if people are aware of how it can affect them, then they can seek out appropriate, testing and input and potential treatment, which, like I said, can be very life-changing. So I split the symptoms into three categories because I think it's easier to remember and it highlights the role of testosterone. So mental, physical, and sexual symptoms. So people often associate low testosterone with just sexual symptoms, but actually there's two other areas of the body or aspects of your health that it can impact. So mentally, people will often report at least some degree of apathy, maybe some low mood. Anxiety is a very common one that I see in the men that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Brain fog, poor concentration. So that's where it does impact the workplace. Often people just feel like they can't get their thoughts connected or quite think as clearly or quickly as they used to. That's not all of them, but that's the main ones I tend to see. Then physically, mainly it's low energy, fatigue, unexplained fatigue. But it also impacts quality of sleep. It might impact your joints. So you might have some aches and pains that are unusual for you or unexplained. Muscle aches. You might even lose some muscle and find it, harder to put on muscle and harder to lose body fat. So people tend to complain that, despite lots of exercise, they're not losing the body fat, particularly around their waist and things. And then sexually, what you commonly see would be a big one is less morning erections, because that's more of an objective marker. Although stress can impact it, it kind of takes away maybe the psychology or the stress behind libido and things. But low libido, lack of morning erections, and erection quality being less than it was or absent. So multiple symptoms it can present with, and that's not exhaustive list. There are more symptoms that it can be, but those are the ones I tend to commonly see on a day-to-day basis at work. When you talk about maintaining healthy hormones, you really have to think about maintaining general health. So the things that I tend to advise are, a big one is getting to or maintaining a healthy body fat level. So not carrying too much excess body fat, because that does impact your testosterone levels and your hormonal health in general. Being active will always be helpful. It both reduces our stress levels, helps us sleep better, but actually on a physiological basis also helps our hormonal health. So healthy body fat level, regular exercise, and then you look at things like making sure you're getting adequate sleep and on a consistent basis. Again, that's important for our hormones, and managing your day-to-day stress. So chronic stress will not, it will impede our testosterone production, which will then make us potentially less resistant to stress. And so it can become a bit of a vicious cycle. And the last one that I always recommend is generally eating a good, healthy diet. So obviously that helps you maintain healthy body fat levels. So plenty of whole foods, trying to avoid processed foods. That will also help your sugar level control, which again will help your hormonal health. because our body at the end of the day is kind of a blend of systems rather than just your testosterone production system, if you want to think about it that way. So if you maintain overall good health, you're more likely to maintain good hormones. Simplest thing answer would be to say get your testosterone level checked, but the more probably detailed answer would be when you're looking for, if it is a testosterone issue, you want to have several blood tests done, or at least, several markers checked when you get your bloods done, rather than just your total testosterone. So you want to look at your general health, for two reasons, really. Your general health will impact your hormones, but also low testosterone symptoms can be a symptom of something else. So you want to make sure that you've got, plenty of blood so you're not anemic. You want to make sure your thyroid's working properly. You want to make sure your organs like your kidneys and liver are working efficiently as well. So check your general health at the same time as checking your testosterone levels. And when we talk about testosterone levels, you don't just want to have the total testosterone checked. You want to know what something called your free testosterone levels are. And you want to have a look at the whole hormonal system of the messages from your brain to your testicles. So those are hormones as well that are involved in the production of testosterone. So really, what I would say is if you think you've got low testosterone, make sure you get the right tests done. And that's not just a total testosterone, because then you'll miss other things going on. It's not as simple as just a single blood test, really. I think it's so essential that we don't take our health for granted, but also the fact that we understand how our physical and mental health impacts our performance. So at work, is it possible to thrive? You could argue it might, depending on what job you're doing, but ultimately your performance will be impacted by your health. So that includes your physical and mental health. We tend to see that if people aren't looking after their physical health, for example, simply put, their brain won't work as well as it would if they did get enough sleep, if they were looking after their diet, generally looking after, regular physical exercise routine. So looking after your health is pretty paramount to functioning properly. And then that would obviously spill into the workplace on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, you've got it. You can't take your health for granted, particularly as we get older. We need to look at ways of maintaining good health, which will ultimately make us function better. I'm a big advocate for recognizing and spreading the word about the impact of your physical health on your mental health, because I love the way that mental health awareness has become much more of a common topic to talk about. And it's great that people have that, there's less stigma against it. So people are able to be more open about how they may be struggling mentally. But I think what's kind of been missed from that picture is the idea that at the end of the day, our body is a whole system and our physical health does impact our mental health. So what I always recommend is if you look after your physical health, that can be part of the recovery from mental health problems, but also it can help prevent them too. So don't sort of ignore your physical health when you're looking after your mental health, and vice versa, and they do impact each other. So it's just important to have that awareness that at the end of the day, your body is one system rather than saying your mental health is separate from your physical health. So they do interact.